Time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Jen Cohen as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's Countywide.
Hello and welcome to Countywide. I'm your host, Jen Cohen. We're here today to talk about the annual Sedona Firewise community cleanup, along with Firewise itself. Ready, set, go. Lots of stuff happening right now. Of course, it's fire season. We're heading into stage 2 restrictions, so we have a lot to talk about today. With us, we have Sedona Fire District Fire Marshal John Davis. We also have firefighter and EMT Paul Chabot. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. Really appreciate it. It's I guess, I don't know, I'd want to say it's an exciting time of year for you, because it is and it isn't, because it's not the good kind of excitement that we want as we've got fires happening all over the place.
That is correct. Things tend to get busy this time of year, and for us, being busy means somebody's having a bad day, so that's not always a good thing. That
is true. Now, in preparation of now we've got into these fire restrictions, and you should have already prepped your home, but if you haven't, the Firewise cleanup is happening in Sedona Friday, May 18th through the 19th to Sunday the 20th for free. Is this correct, Paul? They can bring their yard debris and all kinds of sorts of things from their cleanup to the fire department there on Forest Road in Uptown Sedona.
That's right. Yeah, we have an upper lot from our Fire Station 4 on Forest Road, and we have 4 to 5 dumpsters there, 40-yard dumpsters. Folks are welcome to bring on all their yard trimmings and leaf litter, and we'll happily unload it for them. And we do every year. I'd say we do close to 15 tons of material. So it's a great venue for
And
the
what
residents.
are you not accepting?
We don't accept any trash, of course, hazardous materials, and cactus.
Cactus.
Cactus is a bit of a pain for us, but so unfortunately, no cactus.
Okay, no cactus. Yeah. Cactus doesn't burn too well anyway, does it?
Typically has higher moisture.
There you go. So don't worry about the cactus. What kind of things should people be doing that they can do right now? I mean, we are kind of late into the preparation system, Fire Marshal Davis, but what should we also be looking for doing?
Sure. You know, the biggest determining factor of whether or not your house is going to burn in a wildfire event is what you do. There's zones that Firewise has identified. The first zone is 0 to 5 feet from the house. The next zone is 5 to 30 feet from the house. And every study has shown that it's what you do within that 30-foot zone next to your house that is going to determine whether your house survives a wildfire. So you don't want a continuous path of brush or trees growing right up your house. You want to create those vertical and horizontal separations so that you have a broken patchwork of vegetation around your house. And everything that I have read, everything that I have heard says probably the one thing: if you did everything right around your house and neglected to clean out the gutters and allowed leaves and pine needles to collect in your gutters, all the rest of the work was for nothing. So the one thing, probably the most important thing, is get those gutters cleaned out. What happens is embers fall from a nearby fire, they fall into the gutter. There is enough fuel in those gutters that it holds fire long enough. Doesn't matter whether you've got a tile roof, non-combustible siding, it holds fire long enough in those gutters for that to catch that roof sheeting on fire, and it goes up underneath the roofing material and you lose your house. That's probably the most important thing. If I can tell you, if you only have time to do one thing, clean your gutters.
Clean your gutters.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. Now back to the continuous fuels, the line of brush. See, that took me a little while to grab hold of. I think it's the lingo that the firemen use, the continuous fuels. So bushes, if you have this line where these catch fire, and if they're playing tag and they can touch each other, anything they can touch and reach creates a fire line to your home. Correct. So now I really get you're saying islands where nothing is touching anything, so the fire can't then connect.
Yes, and people have a misconception about what is Firewise. For instance, there was a cartoon in the paper yesterday, and it showed this huge clear cut around this house, and the comment was something about nice Firewise mitigation or something to that effect. And that is so not the case with Firewise. When I envision what a good Firewise fire plan looks like around a house, I see a park. To me, it's a park-like setting. You still have vegetation, you've got the trees, you've got the brush, but it's open. You can see through it in areas. It's not a solid wall of brush. It's manicured, well cared for. It's beautiful, actually. So if that's the biggest thing that I could tell people about Firewise, check into it. You probably have a misconception. I know I did. I know a lot of people do. And when you really research it, it really looks good, and it breaks up those continuous fuel loads that lead right up to your house and put you and your family in peril.
That's true. That's a very common misconception. You think, I've got to take all my trees down.
Yeah.
But I love trees. I don't want to cut my trees down. But one of the things that you guys have been really stressing is from the ground to about 6 feet, Paul, is it, that we should trim?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, and like John said, the shrubs, like if you can imagine a juniper bush, if the understory is touching the ground, then and a fire sweeps through there, it's going to enable that shrub to catch fire. So trimming all that understory not only looks great, but it keeps that fuel up off of the ground. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you call them ladder fuels.
Ladder
is that
fuels,
correct?
exactly.
Ladder fuels. Yeah, another one of those terms that some people may not be getting. What ladder fuels? But that makes. And you're right, Paul. It does look good. I was just working on my house yesterday and clearing all that stuff up. I went, wow, that looks really nice.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make me see my neighbors more, because that's one of the things we always worry about. If I trim my trees, I'm going to see my neighbors more.
Sure.
Exactly.
Not if you trim them right.
Yeah. And one of the things that you mentioned was not wanting to cut down trees. We discussed that at my house. I have trees that are too close to my house. They were planted 40 years ago. I don't want to cut them down, but I've done what I could to make them Firewise. I've limbed them up above the roof line so that if they do catch on fire, all that heat is going up into the air. I won't have fire rolling up underneath the eaves. So even though your vegetation around your house may not be ideal and you want to keep some of it, there are still things that you can do to make it more Firewise and maintain those established trees and bushes that you don't want to get rid of.
That's true. Great website too, firewise.org. They can go to that, check it out. It's got lots of hints and tips and how-tos and what-tos. You can also go to sedonafire.org. They've got lots of good stuff there. Firerestrictions.us is a good one for this time of year. You can see what kind of restrictions are happening in your area. We're going to get into a few things that you can and cannot do that we're heading into now, stage 2. So there's some timey stuff as far as if you're going to continue to trim. Again, we're talking about the annual Sedona Firewise Community Cleanup that is happening May 18th, 19th, and 20th at the Fire Station 4, which is on Forest Road in Uptown Sedona. We're talking with Sedona Fire District Fire Marshal John Davis and also firefighter and EMT Paul Chavot. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more Countywide, so don't go away.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Being prepared is a part of who you are, but it's especially important in the case of a disaster. Be informed about possible emergencies in your area. Make a plan that covers where you go in an emergency. Build a kit. with the things you need to survive. There's no one more capable of planning for your situation than you. Start your plan today. Go to ready.gov/myplan.
And welcome back to Countywide. I'm your host, Jen Cohen. We're talking with Sedona Fire District Fire Marshal John Davis and also firefighter and EMT Paul Chabot. We're talking about the annual Firewise Community Cleanup happening May 18th, 19th, and 20th at Fire Station 4 in Uptown Sedona. Sedona residents can take advantage of disposing of yard debris and things from your Firewise and Defensible Space cleanup for free. It's a great thing. Paul says they even unload it for you. So check out sedonafire.org for more information about that. Go to firewise.org. That will tell you all the things you need to know about being Firewise. And of course, firerestrictions.us will tell you what restrictions are in your area. So back to defensible space, because that's a huge thing. That's a buzzword now, defensible space, creating defensible space. We've established that you don't have to clear cut your property. Fire Marshal Davis, you said that. Park-like setting, I like how that is. Everything should be manicured and trimmed. Now, trimming, of course, the trees all have these crazy limbs going all over the place. What do we want to look for, Paul, as far as tree limbs go?
Well, in a lot of cases, you'll have good mature trees that are overhanging the roofs of folks' houses, and in some cases they're actually touching the roof, and that's obviously not a good thing. So trimming up, getting those branches up and away from the roof is critical. And really it's about fire load. So if you can imagine if you have a big juniper tree outside your house and that happens to catch fire, there's a tremendous amount of radiant heat from that, not to mention junipers throw a lot of embers, and if those embers start showering your home, you want to be prepared for that. Like John said, the embers could land in the gutters and catch anything on fire in there. You also have the soffits under the roofs, and the ridge vents and eaves have, it should be protected with some screening to keep some of those embers out of the attic space. There's, in some cases, we see folks will stack firewood close to their house during the winter time and up on their porches and whatnot. Those embers will fall in those wood piles and eventually catch fire. So removing those fire loads from the house is critical, in my opinion.
Moving all those fuels back away from the house.
Exactly.
How far away does the firewood pile need to be, Paul?
Preferably 20, 30 feet away, wouldn't you say, John?
Yeah, at a minimum 10 feet away. But like we talked about those zones, what you can do within that 30 foot, yeah, and you may have to take a few more steps to get your firewood, but 30 feet would be a good rule of thumb for, especially for a large, if you've got a cord of wood stacked up next to your house, that's a lot of energy sitting there just waiting to catch a spark.
Yeah.
So at minimum 10 feet, further is even better.
That'd be quite a bonfire.
Yes.
Should the firewood start.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah. One thing that Paul did talk about, the embers falling on your house. One thing that I tell people, if you want to know where your problem areas are, walk around your house in the fall after the leaves have fallen off the tree. Where those leaves collect, that's the same place those embers are going to collect. They collect where it's the wind swirls around your house. Those are your problem areas. And if you've got your wood stacked in one of those problem areas, you might want to look at moving your wood pile.
Wow, well that's a fascinating piece of advice. Now I know you do fire assessments for homes and for properties, Firewise assessments. You can actually go to the property, look around and go, here's your problem, there's a problem, there's a problem, do something about that. This time of year is probably not the best time of year
No, those are all, yeah, we're happy to do that, and we'll come out and do them now for you, but as we move into fire restrictions and limited hours on chainsaw use and all that good stuff, it becomes harder and harder to do those things now. Those are all things that you should do well ahead of fire season. It's not impossible to get done now, but with the restrictions on chainsaws, it makes it more difficult. Certainly. But yes, we'll come out, take a look, offer some advice, and that's all it is really, is advice. You have to decide what is acceptable for your home. There may be trees that you absolutely hate and want to get rid of. There may be trees that you absolutely love and want to keep, but there are things that you can do. If there's a tree that you don't want to get rid of, maybe we need to look at treating some of the other brush around that tree. So it's just advice, but it will help you make an informed decision and kind of decide which direction you want to go, and what you can do with your particular piece of property, because they're all different. Slope plays an important factor. Certainly if you're at the top of a slope, fire travels uphill much faster than downhill. So on a slope, you're going to want to probably be more aggressive with the separation between trees and shrubs. But each property is different.
Certainly.
And there are a myriad of ways that you can attack the problems on each piece of property.
And it's good to have a pair of educated eyes come out. I believe you do the assessments Monday through Friday?
Monday through Thursday.
Monday through Thursday. Yes. And you need to call 928-204-8929. Call that number to schedule your...
8926.
8926. Oh my God.
Yes, 8926.
I'm dyslexic today.
I don't know where the 29 goes.
I read it upside down.
That's okay.
I do that. Schedule your free, and it's free, right?
It is free.
It's amazing. A free home wildfire assessment. 204-8926 is the number to call for that. Now, we've just a few minutes more before we head into a break, but we're going into Fire Restriction 2 now, which chainsaws, which are one of the most important things for creating defensible space, one of the most important tools. There are some limitations to using chainsaws, power tools, things like that outside while you're creating the defensible space or cleaning up your yard. Tell us what those are now.
So once we move into stage 2 fire restrictions, you can still use chainsaws, but it has to be before 9 a.m. or after 8 p.m. So typically when the humidity is higher and temperatures are lower, and it needs to have a spark arrestor in place. So you can still do it, but the hours are very restricted.
No, that's not too bad. Actually, those are the hours I'd want to be using my chainsaw.
Yeah, it's cooler. It's much cooler.
It's cooler. It feels nice, and the humidity is up. Thank you for the little humidity we've had now. It's not going to last more than 2 more days, but
I know.
but it was nice. So that's good to know, because you think, oh, geez, now I can't use my chainsaw. Well, I can't certainly cut it down by hand, so I guess it's just going to wait. But you don't have to. You just have to do it before 9 a.m. or after 8 p.m. Put on your headlamp and your helmet and go outside.
There you go.
Everybody holds flashlights, and there you go. We're trimming the yard.
Yes.
That's amazing. Now, as far as the Firewise cleanup goes, so of course we've got brush, we've got trees and shrub trimmings, and no cactus. But there are certain things that need to be bagged. Is that correct, Paul?
It's not necessary.
Okay.
It's what a lot of folks do, which is super convenient for us. If they have a pickup truck, they'll line the bed with a tarp, load everything onto the tarp, and our personnel can just pull the entire tarp right out onto the ground. And we have heavy machinery that picks it up. So the bags are not necessary. It's convenient for the folks who don't have pickup trucks. They can throw the bags in their vehicles and keep their vehicles clean.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, pine needles in a bag would certainly be more convenient if you're putting it in the back of your Volvo.
Exactly. So. in years past, we weren't able to take the bags, but that has since changed with through Patriot Disposal. They've been great. They take the bags and they recycle them, from what I understand.
Okay, so bags only if it's convenient. Otherwise, throw a tarp down in the bed of your pickup. They'll just go right out. Okay. We're going to take another quick break, but we'll be right back. Check out sedonafire.org, firewise.org, and firerestrictions.us. We're talking about the Sedona Firewise community cleanup that's coming up May 18th, 19th, and 20th. We'll be right back, so don't go away.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here?
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey. Ready for the...
Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Ah, Smokey! Only you can prevent wildfires.
And welcome back to Countywide. I'm your host, Jen Cohen. Just a few minutes left. We're talking with Sedona Fire District Fire Marshal John Davis and firefighter EMT Paul Chabot. We're talking about the annual Firewise community cleanup. We've talked about defensible space, how to make your home Firewise. You want to go to sedonafire.org for more information on the event. That's happening from 8 to 5 in Uptown Sedona on Forest Road. You've got the fire station number 4, and past that, there's the parking lot there. That's where everything is going to go. So if you want more information on that, check out sedonafire.org. And of course, firerestrictions.us. Put that one on your refrigerator. You want to check that weekly before you go out and do anything. Now, notifications are huge right now. All the counties have different things. There's Code Red. Code Red's really important, right, Fire Marshal Davis, for getting signed up on.
Yes, Yavapai County Sheriff's Office is a participant in the Code Red program. And if you go to their website or give them a call on their non-emergency number, they can help you get signed up for the Code Red alert service. It's my understanding that you don't have to have a smartphone. If you don't have a smartphone and just have a regular landline, you can still get that phone number registered with the Code Red alerts and receive those updates as they are disseminated.
The system works great. They just did a test over the weekend, and it was great. I got a text and a phone call and an email. Because I signed up for everything. So you don't need a cell phone, which is great because some people still don't. You give them a call, or if you can't go online, you can call them directly. Call the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office. They'll help you out. Look up Code Red on the internet, and you can find that out. Of course, any notifications that your county, your city, your fire district puts out, you want to get involved with. Look everybody up and sign up for everything.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's fantastic. Well, I'm really looking forward to the event. I know you're going to see me many times, like at least 5 or 6 loads, Paul. It's happening May 18th, 19th, and 20th. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. in Uptown Sedona on Forest Road. You've got Fire Station 4. Go past that. There's the parking lot. Will you guys be out there? directing traffic or
we will be
pulling
there.
leaves.
And if we're not there, other people will be there.
There you go. I like that there's help, by the way. Paul, you mentioned there's help in getting everything out of your truck or your vehicle. You guys are, I'm totally amazed with how much fire personnel actually do. You don't just fight fires. You don't just do EMT work. You help people with things. I'm always amazed at how service-orientated the organization is. So thank you both for your service. Really appreciate what you're doing. Very good. And that's all the time we have left for Countywide. I'm Jen Cohen. We'll see you next time.